Hello, thanks for tuning in to Chatty Chatty Chat Chat, the show where I speak with amazing entertainers and find out their life story starting from their very first memory. On this show, I spoke with Jessica McHugh, an author with over 15 books published. This year alone, she's got 3 novels and 2 novellas coming out. Let's get chatty with Jessica.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great, how are you?
Can't complain. Doing all right. Full of coffee.
Little coffee. Oh, nice. You're going to be ready to chat then.
Absolutely.
I did a little research, Googling, so not like in-depth research.
Google is still pretty scary.
I know. Well, I didn't see any nudes or anything.
Okay, well that's good.
Your sex video, that was good.
That was good. I'm glad I cut my face out of it just for that brief second. That was a bad face I made.
I was reading some of this. You write a lot.
I do.
Oh my gosh. How many hours a day are you writing?
Probably collectively 10 to 12.
Every day.
Pretty much.
I'm seeing like you had 13 books published in 5 years.
Yes.
Which I imagine that means like you wrote more than 13 books.
Yes, I've written 21, I'm almost at the end of the 22nd one, so.
Oh, God.
So, and I have 3 coming out this year, so.
Wow. Do you dream weird dreams?
Yes.
I recently been watching Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what goes on in this guy's mind? There's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
So with a person with 13 books, 20, almost 21, you actually written, you said?
Almost 22.
Almost 22. Yeah. Who's counting?
Yeah.
And then more things are being published, right? Mm-hmm. You've got 3 novels, 2 novellas. Now, what does that mean exactly?
Novella's pretty much just shorter novel. I think it goes from like 15,000 to like 30,000, I guess, is considered a novella, but then they also have novelettes and...
Yeah.
So I write something and then let people tell me what the hell it is.
Great. Darla Decker Diaries?
Yes.
Is that an ongoing thing?
Yes, that's the book I'm finishing now is the 3rd one in the series. So I have 8 or 9 planned.
Gosh.
8 planned, but who knows what's going to happen. So, yeah, and that first one comes out in like 3 weeks, actually.
Very cool.
Darla Decker hates to wait. Yeah, it's kind of like my edgy Ramona Quimby kind of thing.
Nice.
So it's growing up, starts with middle school, but there's a lot of grown
up
Frank parts of it.
Okay. Did you say Frank?
Yeah, Frank.
Oh.
Just an honest look at the nitty-gritty of growing up.
I saw also that you're a playwright.
Mm-hmm. I try to be.
My gosh. You probably, I don't type very fast, but you probably type.
I don't, I actually write by hand.
What? 12 hours a day by hand?
Yeah, I write all the first drafts by hand, except for short stories. Sometimes I'll write those on the computer, but novels all by hand, and then I have to type them over, and it's awful.
Wow, that's a lot of hours handwriting.
Yeah.
I remember like essay questions. My wrist, I would like, ow, 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I actually, up until about a little over a year ago, I worked in molecular diagnostics where I'd be, pipetting all day. And
what does that mean?
Like, it's in science class and stuff. You would have it's what you draw up the liquid with your pipette, and you draw. Basically, it would be a lot of this motion over and over and over. And my wrist, I started getting tendinitis just really bad.
Yeah.
And my old job tried to blame it on my writing, and they're like, "Oh no, it's just because you're writing so much." I'm like, I don't think so. And then after I left the job, I've now been writing more than ever, and I haven't had a single pain, so I kind of just want to run back to the job and be like, I told you.
Yeah, they don't like you to do like, workers' comp stuff.
No,
they don't like that.
They don't.
All right, so my very first question is, what is your first memory?
It's so tough. That's the toughest one. Everything, I would probably have to say in preschool, I guess. I mean, I don't think I remember everything that far back, but I remember being in nursery school I think I had to be 3 or 4, I guess. My mom and I stayed up really late making oatmeal cookies to bring to my whole class and everything. And I remember like painting yellow frosting faces on them. And I was like, oh my gosh, everyone's gonna love me so much. I got all these cookies. It's my birthday. I'm so excited. And then I got to school and, everyone had the cookies, and then they bring out the cake to sing happy birthday. And it's like a cardboard thing. It was just like a cardboard circle. And I was just like, I think actually like a picture of me blowing out the fake candles, and I'm like,
why? Why didn't they have a real cake and candles?
I don't know. I guess that little kids, they didn't want them to storm the cake or something. I don't know. Maybe that's why we had to bring the cookies. No idea.
Where did you grow up? Like, where's your childhood?
I grew up in Hampstead, which is in Hampstead, Maryland, which is in Carroll County. Very, very, very small town with cows and,
okay.
Like the main street, you could walk it in like 2 minutes. You could walk across the library in 2 minutes. It was very small town, but I lived there for 17 years or so.
Okay. So in this town that small, you kind of like grew up, I imagine, with the same people.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm still friends with a lot of. I have the same best friend I've had since 6th grade.
Nice.
So,
that's good. Keep that going.
I try.
So preschool. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have 2 older brothers.
How much older?
Each are, my middle brother's 2 years older than me, and then my oldest brother's 2 years older than him, so
pretty close.
Having that 4-year difference between me and my older brother was kind of, we weren't super close. I kind of idolized him.
Yes.
A amount. We were never in school together, so, we didn't, and then my middle brother was just an asshole, so.
Really?
Well, he was mean to me, as the little sister. I was always hanging around, and, we did go to the same school at the same time, and we were in the same classes, and it was horrible.
Oh, jeez.
It was horrible. He tortured me, but
you didn't idolize him?
I mean, I did to a certain extent, but, when someone's being evil to you for most of your life, you kind of lose that admiration. I mean, I love him. I love him now, but
yes,
we had some difficulties, to say the least.
Yes, that can happen, especially the closer you are in age, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I spent my whole life wanting, like, a sister, and, I growing up with 2 older brothers, I felt like I kind of grew up dude-ish, and... I mean, I got no hair.
I love it.
It's just kind of, I've always been more of a guy girl, I guess, a little bit. I always hung out with boys and always had like a raunchy sense of humor and stuff like that. My voice even sounds like a dude. But somehow I snagged a husband, so I don't know how that happened.
So, preschool, these are the guys you hung out with? Did you have cousins, neighbors?
No, I mean, I hung out with neighbors and kids in the neighborhood. Didn't really have any close by cousins, although I do have a balls ton of cousins. It's crazy. But I mostly hung out with the kids in the neighborhood, boys mostly. There's actually a part in the first Darla Decker book that I play with something that we did as a kid. I went to daycare and we'd play kissing games.
Uh-huh.
So there was a lot of that going on in clubhouses and
the old kissing game. It's like world renowned, but everyone feels like they made it up.
Yeah, and I know, like, people will talk about when I mention the stuff that happens in Darla Decker, that she gets, you know, her first French kiss in 6th grade, and people are like, oh, no, you can't do that, you're giving kids ideas. And I'm like, believe me, kids already have those ideas, friend.
You remembered your preschool, you brought cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone love you for those cookies?
I hope so. I mean, I can't imagine kids not liking cookies with bacon on them. So, I imagine so. I think I got along pretty much with people in preschool, although, you know, I've always been a little bit of a spotlight stealer. I think pretty much any time I was in, you know, a song performance or a play, I was always the loudest and trying to step into the front. I know we did stuff with, like, a piñata during Christmas time, and I was big into sports when I was a kid, so when I smacked the piñata and didn't instantly break it on the first smack, I just went, oh. And the entire, like, audience in the video was like, oh, which is not sure what I was going for.
Do you remember your pre-K teacher?
Oh, not really.
Yeah.
Really? Sure, they were nice. There were 2, I think. Sure, they were very nice. The only teacher I really remember that young is my 1st grade teacher.
Okay.
Mrs. Dull, which she was not dull.
Oh, good. She did not live up to her name.
No, she had an imaginary friend who helped out in the classroom named Mr. McGillicuddy. And anytime anything went wrong, it was always Mr. McGillicuddy's fault. So that's pretty much all. Yeah, I loved that class, and I remember her and her husband would they would do big Christmas lights in their house and build crazy electronics and you know, have just all this cool Christmas stuff. And every year we would go to the house and stand outside and watch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So she was cool.
Yeah.
Elementary school, did you have any crushes?
Oh, all the time. I had crushes on everybody. I mean,
anybody?
I had boyfriends, I think, starting in, like, 1st, 2nd grade, you know, boyfriends.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Okay. I know there was, you know, it was back in the great heyday of passing notes, you know, of, you know, when you'd have a hollowed out pen and you'd write your note inside and put the pen in there. And when you went, put the note in the pen, then when you went up to sharpen your pencil, you'd drop it on the floor or on someone's desk. And
that's cool. I never heard of that.
They would read, and I'd save all the notes, and I still have pretty much all the notes saved. And they would be things like, you know, they'd be all terribly misspelled from boys, and it's like, your butt looks cute today. You're like, oh, he likes my butt. You know, and I definitely got in trouble in elementary school for kissing, and yeah, I mean, that's as far as I went, but I got in trouble.
All right.
And, like, sneaking around kind of thing.
How did your breakups go in elementary school? Did you just...
I think it was like, I just don't like you anymore. Or so, you know, or someone would tell me that the guy no longer wanted to date me, or you just start dating somebody else.
New note.
Yeah, different notes. Yeah, I mean, I think I pretty much had a different boyfriend every month or so, and there were definitely boys that I just liked so much that I could never quite get. I remember there was a kid named Daryl and a kid named Brendan. Brendan, I called his house a bunch of times and left like 18 messages on his machine. I got in so much trouble.
How old were you when this happened?
God, I don't know. I had to have been in like 4th or 5th grade. I could not have been that old, because I think it was only a couple years after T-ball. I was bad with boys. I was boy crazy.
Yeah.
Elementary and middle school I was boy crazy, and then high school, nope.
You got over the craziness?
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was worth it. People talk too much, you know. I was just like, I'm not dating anyone in this school. No one's good enough. I'm too busy.
Yeah, it's a small school, right?
Super small, but yeah, I mean, it was, as far as towns go, it's like everybody pretty much knew everybody. And
Yes.
although I didn't know really many people that were, maybe 2 years younger than me. I basically stayed in the 2 years before and ahead of me.
So with older brothers, did you develop any crushes on their friends?
Yeah. Yeah. My brother Jeff, the oldest one, his best friend Brian, forget about it. I just told him that we were going out.
Oh, did it work?
Yeah, no. No, it did not work at all. I would just be on the bus or whatever, and I'd just be like, "We're going out. You're my boyfriend." And I just remember him saying, "Oh, no, you have to dump me." And I was like, "I don't have a dump truck." I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. So stupid. Terrible.
Made it out of elementary school, like, pretty much unscathed. Like, you didn't have any, like, you kind of were, like, boy crazy, but nothing, like, no problems there.
Yeah, no, I think I got out of elementary school okay. Middle school was when it started going floopy.
Were you writing in elementary school? Did you know at this point?
Yeah, I mean, actually, in fourth grade, I had a teacher named Mrs. Burkhouse who must have been just a literature nut, because I have this accordion folder where my mom and dad saved everything I pretty much did, and the entire fourth grade year is like this thick with stories, short stories, poetry. I mean, it's all terrible. A novel that's like 5 pages long. They're all pretty awful, but I wrote so much back then.
After elementary school comes junior high.
Yeah.
And you'd think from your Darla Decker Diaries that you might have had some times in junior high, right?
Yes, indeed. Had some times. Yeah, there are definitely some things that Darla experiences that I experienced myself, although she does it in a much more graceful way, I think. And, stuff has changed up. But, yeah, I got 7th grade, I was arrested for shoplifting.
What'd you shoplift?
Candy.
What? In the 7th grade?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that was kind of sucky.
Well, let's hear it. Where were you?
I was at a place called Festival Foods. I think in Darla Decker it's called Carnival Kitchen. Yeah, I did it. I don't know how many times I did it before I got caught, but it was at least 5 times. And, I'd go in with a backpack, and, back then there weren't those alarm barriers at the door.
Yes.
You could just walk in and walk out.
Right.
So, yeah, I eventually got caught.
How much candy were you taking in this backpack?
Like bags and bags of it. I was selling it at school.
You were the candy dealer?
I was the candy dealer. It's so bad. I feel like such a dick. But I mean,
how many times did you get away with it before you got caught?
I mean, it had to be like at least 5 or 6 times. I just remember beforehand I was at the library, because I would volunteer at the library after school. I know, it's like the big nerd who volunteers at the library then proceeds to go steal and sell candy.
That's amazing.
Such a contradiction. But yeah, there was this kid who learned what I was doing, and he decided he wanted to do it too. So he tagged along, and I am convinced to this day that's what got me caught.
Oh, definitely. That goon, he was a rookie.
Yeah, so
what inspired it? What inspired the first steal? Like,
you know what? I don't know. Darla has good motivation. Well, not good motivation, but she has motivation. I cannot remember for the life of me, except just money. I wanted the money from selling it. I really don't know. I think I was just crazy, or actually, I feel like my middle brother had mentioned something about it, and I thought it sounded cool, maybe. I don't know. I feel horrible to this day for my poor parents having to go through that, and not cool of me. Not cool. But yeah, and then I tell you, there is nothing scarier in the world than sitting in a police station waiting for your mom to show up.
In 7th grade?
In 7th grade, yeah.
Were you crying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was sitting at the desk when the officer called my mom, and he hangs up the phone after talking to her. I'm like, did she sound angry? And he's like, yeah.
Were they like scared straight in your face, like just yelling at you?
I think he had more paperwork. He had paperwork to do.
Okay.
I was just like sitting there, just watching when it was a tiny little station. It wasn't like when I got put in there, I thought I was gonna be in jail, and there's gonna be like hardened criminals. I was sitting on a folding chair next to a desk. It's nothing, but I had to go to court and get sentenced, and
jeez.
And that song was, I remember when I was waiting for my appointment to get the judgment, it was that, you gotta be bad, you gotta be wiser. Every time I hear that song, I get like a panic attack.
Not again. Did the cashier like came over and tapped you on the shoulder and like, excuse me?
No, it was, they had a big two-way mirror that I didn't even really know that two-way mirrors were a thing. And a manager came over while I was like mid-stuff into my backpack.
What?
Yeah, and it was not, he's like, come with me, young lady, kind of thing.
Oh,
and the kid that was with me, too. And I'm like, this is awful. This was, I was not... That was probably one of the biggest low points in my life.
Did your accomplice get arrested?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. We both had to do community service. I worked at the Goodwill. I had to polish everything that was metal, which, if you've ever been in a Goodwill, all the clothing racks are metal. Pretty crappy.
So, after that life of crime, I mean... Did you go further into it, or was that it?
I can't remember the exact timeline of things, but that was the year I smoked a cigarette for the first time. That was, I hung out with some of the bad kids, or what my parents thought were the bad kids. I don't know which order it came in or how much time was between it, but I definitely used that for Darla. It's because that name of the book is Darla Decker Shakes the State. So it's like her bad year.
Her bad year.
Kind of mimicked mine a little bit. But yeah, I got in trouble for smoking, in which my mom my punishment was to donate all my allowance to the American Heart Association.
Oh, that's a good punishment.
Yeah.
So with this bad crowd, like, do you think in that time, like, you were trying to find yourself, or were you, like...
Yeah, I mean, I think I was these kids, the bad kids were in my neighborhood, so they were easy to hang out with, or at least most of them were in the neighborhood. Also, my middle brother hung out with some of them, so therefore it had that, my brother is cool, and he hangs out with them.
Right.
Therefore, if I do... I think I was probably just crazy, with hormones and puberty coming up and all that kind of stuff. I probably just went a little crazy, and I'm assuming a lot of kids do during that time, probably a lot earlier now, if it happens to most kids. But I mean, I think I just wanted to have fun and try new things. I don't know. Cigarettes weren't good. I mean, they tasted awful.
Did you have any extracurricular activities?
Yeah. I mean, I played soccer, baseball, played basketball for a while, ballet, tap, jazz.
Wow.
I was in the middle school show choir. So I mean, I did a lot of stuff. I think a lot of it came about. Actually, it helped in high school because it kept me busy, and I didn't get into any bad stuff because of it. I think because I was exhausted. But I think during the time that I was playing soccer a lot and then doing all the dance stuff, I kind of wanted to, I guess I wanted to break free and do my own thing.
Yeah.
Which is probably what led me to rebel a little bit, because my dad was all about sports, and then it felt like, you know, my mom was like, well, I gotta make her she has to do something I want her to do, too. So, not that, sorry, Mom, not that you did that, but just felt that way.
But you did.
But you did. So I was, you know, I was doing all this stuff and, you know, trying to decide which sport I liked best and whatnot. And soccer was pretty much my thing. I was good at it. And my dad pretty much encouraged all of us kids to do sports. So
nice. Can you do a monkey flip?
No, probably not now. Probably can't do anything now. Back in the day, I could do some crazy things.
Yeah?
Not hugely, but you know, in soccer, I was always the corner kicks and penalty kicks and free kicks and throws and all that kind of stuff. I could kick, like, I remember I scored a goal from like a little bit past halfway line at one point.
Nice. I
got crazy trophies and medals and all that kind of stuff, and now I'm all like, you know, 31, and I look down and I'm like, oh, I'm fat.
Oh, Lord.
Soccer back in my life. And I'd probably just get a cramp and quit after 5 minutes.
While you're riding 12 hours, you can get that thigh machine, you know?
Yeah, I know. People keep telling me I need standing desks and walking desk kind of thing.
Oh, walking desk. I haven't heard of a walking desk.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a treadmill, and you just walk on the treadmill as you write.
That sounds awful.
Sounds like, you know, how am I supposed to even concentrate when
Exactly, you're like sweating.
Yeah.
And since you're writing with your hand, your sweat smears like.
Yeah. So now I just do my Just Dance on Wii, and then.
There you go. Can't see your body, but I can tell, like, by your ear, you look great.
But I've always been one of those kids, you know, was never comfortable in my own skin, ever.
Really?
Like, my entire life. So, I don't know what that was. Well, I know a little bit of what it was.
Okay, what was it?
My middle brother.
Yes?
Yeah, he was not very helpful for my self-esteem.
Really? And it really affected you?
Yeah, never really could shake it.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah, it was rough. I was always, he used to call me Fatty Flatty. Fatty Flatty? Yeah.
What is that?
He would always, yeah, your stomach sticks out more than your tits do. Yeah, I was, you know, even when I was like, at one point when I was like 19, I was like 110 pounds, and I was still like, oh, I'm so fat.
Oh, God.
Which made like all my friends hate me, of course. Being one of those girls.
Didn't you have enough fat friends in your life that were like, shut up?
Yeah, I do. I have them to this day where they're like, and they're not even fat or anything. They just be like, please shut up. I just feel bad immediately after I complain. But it's like one of those things. It's like ingrained in my mind.
Oh, no.
And it's like something I can not quite shake, you know?
It's still there?
Yeah. It's like,
Stop
you know,
it.
weird psychosis things.
Oh, no.
It's going to be there until I die. I'm going to be skin and bones on my deathbed, and I'm going to be like, do I look fat?
Am I a fatty flatty?
Yeah. By then I might be.
Yeah, because they sag, and I mean, shit only gets more weird. You may as well accept it while it's like pretty good.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to do, but
Oh, jeez. Being a woman and turning 15, it's just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
It's all over. My period came. Good. Did you have your first kiss in junior high?
I had my first French kiss when I was in 3rd grade.
Shut up!
Yeah, during the kissing games.
What?
Yeah, so I had to bump up Darla Decker a little bit. Yeah.
Wow. 3rd grade.
Yeah, it was one of those, the boys would play like a little basketball, a little foam basketball, and whoever got the basket would get to choose what girl they made out with. And like the first point you got was just regular make out. Second was like you went in the closet, and then the third, like there was a cot, and you laid down on the cot and made out.
Where was this party?
It was daycare.
Whoa.
It was just absolute daycare.
What a wild daycare.
And my brother was one of the guys there, so clearly he's not going to make out with me, and there was only one other girl, and she was kind of gross. And he was so, he'd have to kiss her. He did not like it at all. But I had like 3 different guys to choose from, so.
Nice.
And one was like 4 years older than me, or like, yeah.
Is he the one that gave you the tongue?
No, well, they all gave me tongue. I don't remember who was first, unfortunately. I was a little kissing slut.
Wow.
I didn't really understand what was...
Yeah, you're so young then.
Yeah, what it was. I thought it was just all in good fun. I thought it was part of the game.
So it wasn't like a magical nervous feeling?
No,
Okay.
not really. I didn't really, I guess I didn't get that really until maybe 5th grade. When my boyfriend at the time, he would ride his bike over to my house, and we would make out like behind the house, and my neighbors ratted on me.
Oh my God, what rats in your life?
Yeah. They were jerks. I got in trouble.
But can you imagine in the 5th grade, like how far that could have gone? Oh,
yeah. Well, I mean, I remember being, the first time I got felt up over the shirt was definitely like nerve-wracking, because I didn't even have any boobs.
You're like, I'm sorry.
You didn't have anything.
I'm sorry. But this feels good.
Yeah, but it was, it didn't feel like anything.
Oh, it didn't?
I was probably like doing it wrong, I'm sure. Probably like.
How old were you?
That was probably like 7th. Yeah.
Okay, with all this making out,
I'm
you
pretty
slowed
sure
down.
it happened around the cigarette smoking time.
Whoa.
I remember being against a shed. That's listening to the Jerky Boys.
They're funny.
Yeah. So funny, I let a guy feel me up.
That should be a slogan.
Yeah.
So, was your 5th grade boyfriend your first love?
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure I ratted him out for having cigarettes in his bag. So I don't think he did that. My first love, I think, was a kid named Jason, who I had known since kindergarten. I'd had a crush on him since kindergarten. Oh my God, he was so cute. He's still cute, actually. I'm still friends with him. But he had the most adorable dimples, and I was just obsessed with him for years, and we finally went out in 7th grade for, I think, 5 months, and it was like the biggest deal ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, and it's, I kept a diary through all this time, so I do remember he broke up with me the week after Valentine's Day.
Oh my God.
On Valentine's Day, he had said he forgot my present at home on his bed, and then it just, days passed, and he never brought it, and I was sitting at lunch one day, and this girl that I really didn't like at the time, she was like my nemesis, came up to me at the lunch table and said, "If Jason broke up with you, would you cry?" Like, all evil, and I'm like, I guess so. And then she just ran away giggling.
Oh.
Like, what was that about? And then like a couple minutes later, his friend Greg came up and told me that Jason didn't want to be my boyfriend anymore.
Oh, did you cry?
And I'm sure I cried.
Oh, jeez.
And then I probably started dating a guy the next week and got over it.
7th grade, tough heartbreaks.
It did, but I mean, I totally, after dating him, I was just over it for the rest of my life. Also, my best friend started dating him in high school, but You know, it was kind of awesome though, because, you know, I got over it and then kind of saw that they really belonged together, at least for a little bit.
Was that your only Mean Girl experience when that girl was like, ha ha ha, you'll cry?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I think I blocked most of them out.
Right.
Definitely had a couple incidents at sleepovers where we were playing Truth or Dare, and the dares were not supposed to leave the room, and then they did, you know, when got to school. So I'm sure there was some stuff that went around there. Not so much the old urban legend of the hot dog and the twat or anything. That never happened. but
it did.
You know, there were probably some instances of you know, running around topless and outside and knocking on doors and stuff like that probably got teased for. Oh, I do remember one where I was on the school bus and I fell asleep against the window. And then when I woke up, like, everybody was staring at me, and I'm like, what? And they're like, oh my God, Jessica was making out with the window kisser. And yeah, like, all the, you know, the mean girls were teasing me, boys were teasing me. I'm pretty sure it culminated in me punching a boy in the ear.
Nice.
Because I had no aim.
Were you aiming for his penis? Because that would be way off.
I probably wasn't, but I had kneed a couple of boys in the balls over my career, my middle school career. Being mean to me, which I know is never right to do.
No, you shouldn't hurt a boy's penis.
Yeah.
Penises are for lovemaking.
Yeah.
Any other memories from junior high? Yeah,
when I was in the chorus, I was also in a children's chorus outside of school that was taught by a music teacher I'd had in elementary school named Mrs. Rubin, who's very much about enunciation. And so I was chosen to sing "Oh Christmas Tree" for, you know, the Christmas concert. And for some reason, because she had taught me about enunciation, I sang it, how lovely are your branches. And, oh my God, my brother would not let it go for years. And, like, so bad that, like, I could hear him laughing, like, during the concert while he was in the audience. My brother was pretty evil. Then again, he was a kid. He was a boy who didn't want his younger sister, I guess, being happy.
Right, of course, it's totally normal.
Yeah.
Did you like learn to be mean back to him, or?
I was never good at it. No, yeah. Every time I tried to do a comeback or something like that, it never worked. Always made it way worse.
Older brothers seem to really kind of know how to do it better. Like even if you probably did get them, they would be like, yeah, that was stupid. You're like, you're right.
Yeah, I was never good getting back at him in the slightest. He was always way scary. He had way much more power than I did, you know. And his friends were way more, you know, aggressive, and yeah, it didn't work.
Oh, shucks. Well, maybe we'll get him later in life.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, in high school, how was life then?
I was busy a lot. So I tried out. I was on the soccer team in 9th grade. I ended up getting a little hurt, so I was on the bench, and I didn't want to be on the bench, so I stopped playing soccer. I think I was still doing dance at that point. Yeah, I was doing dance, and I was in like a dance troupe called All That Glitters.
Yeah. Although
the sign was always like messed up in our dance hall, and it always said Alfal Clitters. Oh. So we used to like call it all the time. I got really into drama. Yeah, did a lot of plays in high school. Did musicals, and ended up in the high school show choir for the last couple years. Was it 2 years, or was I only in it one? No, that's bad. Probably only one, I guess. Yeah, actually, I was only in it for senior year because I had been too scared to try out all the other years.
Oh,
And then once I got in, I was like, well, that sucks. I could have spent, all this time having fun and,
Yeah.
but I also did, I did summer camp from the time I was 12 from the time I was probably like 11 all the way to all through high school, all into my early 20s. So,
wow.
yeah.
Was it
Some are my best friends that I've known for like 20 years, all came from camp.
Nice. Was it the full summer, or is it just a couple weeks?
It was, it was just 2 weeks in the summer. They'd have a younger campers, and then they'd have a week for older campers. But once I graduated from becoming a camper, or being a camper, you'd become a leader in training, then a craft or rec counselor, then a small group leader, then you might get chosen for assistant director, which becomes a director, and then an adult. So I did all those except for assistant director and director. Very cool. But yeah, I was a counselor for many, many, many years, and I still love to go back to the camp occasionally. The Darla Decker book is all based at camp.
Nice.
So it was a lot of fun. It was a huge, huge part of my life.
Yeah, what happened at camp? Anything crazy? Any major memories there?
Everything happened at camp.
Okay.
But basically, when I was going to camp, when I was a camper, it was a Native American theme. The directors would dress up as old chief, and we'd have 2 campfires a week. The biggest one would be on Thursday nights. The directors would have headdresses and makeup or face paint, and the small group leaders would have headdresses and face paint with their group symbol, and they'd have big glittery signs that had their group on it, and all the little groups would perform songs and skits and cheers, and there'd be a big raging bonfire.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome for many, many years. Just wonderful when I was a kid. And then as I got a little older, it stayed awesome. But, then the summer, as you get older, and the summers kind of open up a little bit after camp with the camp parties.
Oh.
That occurred afterwards. There were some things going on.
Was there drinking? With what? Sorry?
Intense. We would have we'd tent out in my friend's backyard, in which there was like a big pond there, and his parents were always there. His parents were very cool, but probably from the time I was like 15 up, just had some beers and
Ooh.
and hung out and sang camp songs. We'd all have no voices. And I'd hit on all my male counselor friends. That was the only time I ever got any play in high school, was with camp people, because they didn't go to my school.
Oh. Nice. Very cool. Was there any urban legends or scary stories going around?
Not really, except for the size of my friend James's package.
Did you touch it, or?
He was. I saw. He would whip it out on many occasions.
And it was big?
Oh, it was huge. Wow. It was huge. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Even soft, or it was always hard when he had it out?
No, it was soft, and it was very big, and harder. It was when it was hard, it was even larger. That was always fun. It was just kind of like the running gag, and trying to think of. There were so many things. We had so many stupid inside jokes. What was it? LCG was our slang term for fooling around in sex, because it was lubrication, consolation, gratification. Get a little LCG. Because I don't even know how that came about. It was something like someone was having a bad day. This guy, Brendan, that I had a crush on, and I was like, I'll console you. Oh. So consolation became a slang term for sex, and then became the middle part of LCG.
Nice.
There was an incident with a rubber glove where someone, blew up a rubber glove and put it down their pants, and it looked like a dick, and I just happened, I dropped to my knees and, kind of simulated a, blowjob, and then someone snapped a picture.
Oh, great.
And that didn't look good. I was like 16, and the guy that had the rubber glove in his pants was like 23.
Oh, geez.
And then we started calling, give me some love, and...
Was your first time at camp?
Many of my first times were at camp, but I did not lose my virginity in high school, surprisingly enough.
Good for you.
But yeah, many of my first times occurred at camp parties. Yeah, with my friend James was my first blowjob, so that was a weird way to get trained.
He's your friend, and he's like, "I'll just show you."
Basically.
That's amazing.
Basically.
So there was never like any romantic feelings there?
No, not really. Yeah, it was kind of awesome because we were all just really good friends, and we would some of my friends would get together in couples and stuff like that, but mostly we just fooled around and went back to being friends. And a lot of times it would be like it was kind of understood who belonged to who.
Yeah.
Basically each year. But yeah, I got so close to losing my virginity at a camp party.
Oh, geez.
And I was so happy that it didn't happen. But what happened is I was seriously right there. It was about to happen. And then we heard like chuckling, and we realized that a bunch of our friends were hiding behind the tree, and they stole all of our clothes and ran off. So that interrupted things. Thank God.
Was it someone that you liked, or was just like you were just?
Oh yeah, no, I was in love with him. Yeah, nothing really. We fooled around, and that was pretty much it for years and years.
Do you have a best camp memory?
God, there are a lot. Jeez, man. I mean, there are so many. The last year I was a small group leader was just really cool. Because it was I think it was Camp Fantasy or something like that. I can't remember the exact theme, but my group was Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream. And my symbol was a flower, a rose, and it was just kind of cool because I had the big rose on my sign, but I'd also just gotten my first tattoo, which was a rose.
Okay.
So like all of my campers were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool!" They thought I had gotten it just for camp. Basically. So I mean, that entire year was great and bittersweet, being 17 and it being my last year as a small group leader, and then having to go away to college and being scared that, this is the end, and leaving all my friends behind. Luckily, it was not the end. I went for many years after that, but camp changed. The Native American thing went away because of political correctness. So it's changed quite a bit when I go back, but that last year was definitely a good one. It's too hard to pick just one memory.
Right, of course. And it sounds like you had most of your fun at camp, and then high school you were pretty serious. Like you just did your work and
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun too, but yeah, I was actually in an acting or a troupe called Foolproof, which was a group that went around to schools and rehabs and hospitals and stuff and talked about drugs and alcohol and abuse and family problems. And so I did a lot of that kind of stuff, and because I was in the troupe, I was not allowed. I had signed a contract that I would not consume drugs or alcohol.
Right.
Or I guess beat my wife. If I had one. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun. Theater kids are great. Pretty much drama parties, you didn't need a lick of alcohol or people were just crazy,
right,
and horny, and just like, they're all teenagers and all nerds.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we definitely had our silly moments. Sleep deprivation was a great drug.
Yes, that's true. And you broke your vows every summer, or didn't?
I didn't. Yeah, a little bit. I ended up leaving Foolproof in my senior year partly because of that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel comfortable with. As I was getting older, I knew that partying was probably going to be happening a little bit more often.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't doing drugs or anything, but I mean, during the summer, I would have those basically 2 nights of drinking. And you know, it was nothing compared to what a lot of kids were doing, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, I did have those moments, and I actually used to carry around a tape recorder with me to all the parties. So man, did I catch a lot of footage of people being hammered.
Nice. That's nice. Do you have any high school teachers that stood out?
Yeah. My drama teacher, Roberta Gore, was awesome.
Yeah.
Still is awesome. She was also one of the directors of Foolproof. She was just great. Goofy, wonderful, smart, encouraging, supportive. Everything about her was wonderful.
Cool.
I'm sure still is. I haven't talked to her in a little bit, but yeah, she was great. And I took drama three times, drama 1, 2, and 3 in high school, and I also was a drama aide for her. I was a speech and debate aide for her, so her classes were always fun. Mr. Day was a huge influence on me because he was my creative writing teacher. He was great. He would do things like, he'd have a little fishbowl and it would have all kinds of topics in it. If we had time left at the end of class, you'd pick out a topic and you'd have to talk about it for 5 minutes, whether you knew anything about it or not. He used to play like Pink Floyd during class while we'd be writing, and man, he was just so cool. He was also my teacher for Bible Lit, which I'm not a religious person. I just thought Bible Lit sounded interesting, and it really was. We studied it like it was a novel. Yeah. So it was very cool, and also we acted out scenes which were pretty funny, especially when Lot's daughters are getting him drunk, so he'll impregnate them.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I had Mr. Scanlon was great, my Survey of American Lit teacher. There were always rumors that he had weed growing behind the wall of his classroom. He loved The Simpsons and he loved Monty Python. So when I was doing like essays and stuff, I would just show clips from The Simpsons. I'd be like, "That's it," and he'd be like, "A+."
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was great. I still sometimes run into him at like wine fests. I had some good teachers.
That's nice. First tattoo happened in your senior year of high school?
Yeah, when I was 17.
What?
Yeah, it's so silly. My mom signed off for me to get a tattoo, but she wouldn't let me get my cartilage pierced up here.
That's awesome.
I don't understand that, but but yeah, I've been in love with Kevin Spacey since I was 13 years old. And no one understood it at all because he was, I think at the time he was 37.
Yeah, he's old.
and balding, and no one quite got it, but it was my thing. Jessica loves Kevin Spacey. And so when American Beauty came out, I ended up getting an American Beauty rose for Kevin Spacey.
Okay.
And we went and we got it, and then as soon as I come out from getting the tattoo, my mom and my brother who had come with me, they're like, "We want tattoos too!" So they each got tattoos.
What?
Yeah.
Is this the me middle brother?
Yeah.
What'd they get?
He got like a little golem dude, like a little gremlin or something, like a goblin on his arm, which he's terrified of needles, always has been. Huh. So it was pretty funny watching him get it done. He was white as a sheet, sweat pouring off his face. Nice. It was pretty funny. I liked it. But my mom got like a tiny little ladybug, like on her shoulder. Yeah, it was cute.
Well, I can see you have more tattoo. Oh, first of all, where did you get your first tattoo? Somewhere in your small town?
First one I think was Skin Images in Hanover, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah. And apparently they did it, because I got it retouched before my wedding. And they were like, oh my gosh, who did this? It had like faded really badly, and the lines were not good.
Oh, jeez.
So I don't even know if it's still there, that place.
Was it a skeevy place, or?
It was a little skeevy.
Nice.
It was kind of gross, but I mean, I was so excited, I didn't even care at all. The next day at school, I'm just like, look at my tattoo! I remember I was in psychology, and I was showing everyone, I was like lifting up my shirt, and like I lifted it up, and like everything came up, and I was just standing there in my bra, and my teacher, Mr. Ford, who was so hot, he was just like, hello, Jessica. And I'm like, oh no! This is not good.
Ah, jeez. So what happened next, as far as tattoos go?
The next one I got was a 4-leaf clover, on my back. That was supposed to be a tramp stamp, but it got done too high. That was my representation for camp, because it was 4-H.
Oh.
And then also for good luck.
Yeah.
And also for my Irish heritage, which my mom is always nice to correct, saying, 4-leaf clovers aren't Irish. 3-leaf clovers are Irish. So, but either way. Then, after that, I guess after that would have been my Tyler tattoo, which is my cat. It's not a portrait. It's I wanted something to draw the clover down so it would look more, like the tramp stamp. So it basically is a big grin, like a Cheshire cat grin, with like crooked teeth and stuff like that. I basically drew it myself, and they just put it on my back. I'm pretty sure that was the third one. The fourth one would have been Everlasting Gobstopper. I got my first book published.
Nice.
So my favorite author is Roald Dahl.
Nice.
So when I got my first book published, I wanted to celebrate and get a Roald Dahl tribute tattoo, and so I got Everlasting Gobstopper on my ankle. After that would have been my Care Bears tattoo. Which is blended with the Everlasting Gobstopper. I got.
Feel free to show any of these.
Oh yeah, so this is. So there's the Gobstopper, and there's the Care Bears tattoo.
Oh,
cool. It's the evil book lady.
Yes.
So, my cat. I don't know if my muffin top is gonna show, but.
Oh Lord. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I was expecting something much scarier. Like the way you were describing it, I was like, whoa, and now that's nice.
So, and then, so after that one would have been this one, which is my tribute to my book, Danny Marble and the Application for Non-Scary Things.
Cool.
My husband, this is an illustration from the book, which my husband drew. It's supposed to be the moon.
Nice.
And I just got the moon first. His name is Mr. Undermoon. Actually, was his name for it, but everyone I didn't have, like, the color around it, and everyone kept calling it, not everyone, but some people would call it Jack Skellington, and I'm like, it's not Jack Skellington, so, so I got the night sky added around it, which is what this is supposed to represent.
Oh, cool.
After that would have been my gargoyles tattoo. These gargoyles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's the Phoenix Gate, which allows people to travel back in time, or will travel to any dimension and time they want, but I made it all ink splattery because it would be, writing helps me travel in time.
Nice.
Kind of thing. And then this is a work in progress, which you probably can't even see this part of it, but it's a princess. It's the Princesses of Sweet Rhyme and Pure Reason from the Phantom Tollbooth.
Oh,
So that was going to be my, when I quit, I wanted it for years, saying that, you know, when I quit my full-time job to write full-time, I would get the tattoo. And so I've gotten the first part of it.
Nice.
Hopefully I'll get to add to it soon and it will come down to here.
Oh, that looks cool.
So it's just like saving up the money for it.
Right. Oh, tattoos are expensive.
Yes. Yes, very.
So at 17 years old, you got your first tattoo, you said goodbye, in a sense, to camp, and where did you end up going to college?
I went to Frostburg State University in Maryland, in the mountains. I was not there very long. I think I was there for about a semester before I was booted for not going to class.
Oh.
Basically, I met a boy, and the boy kind of took over my life. Not his fault. I allowed him to, you know.
Right.
I put all my focus on him. I had not really had a serious boyfriend before. And, you know, after I lost my virginity to him, it was like, you know, I was so tied up in that relationship that everything else fell by the wayside.
Okay.
Not at all his fault. My fault. But yeah, I was there for, you know, probably a semester, returned home, then ended up going to Allegheny College of Maryland in 2001, which is near Frostburg, so I could be near him. Basically the same thing happened again. I just couldn't make my way. If someone's not making me go to school, I'm probably not going to school.
All right. Yeah.
I'm kind of one of those, you know, learn on my own type of people.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, I always did well in high school. I, you know, had pretty good grades for most of the classes. But, yeah, if I had the option not to go, I was not going.
Yeah. So how did it end with Mr. Virginity Man?
We dated for 5.5 years.
Okay.
But we also were 5.5 years apart. You know, he was 5 years older than me. So, when we met, I was 17, he was 23. Very different points. They don't feel like they're that far apart, nor did I believe anybody when they told me that, you know, that was a big, you know, distance in time. But, yeah, I mean, as he got older and I got older, it just wasn't working. He wanted me to be more serious when I was 21 and 22 because he was 26, 27, you know. He was ready. He wasn't ready to settle down, but he was ready for me to stop, you know, being a server and fooling around with writing and drinking and all this kind of stuff. So, just kind of fell apart.
Is this the glove guy from camp?
Huh?
Is this
No. This was a guy I met in Frostburg, like on my first day in Frostburg, pretty much.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just kind of fell apart, like things do, and we were probably together way longer than we should have been.
Yeah.
We broke up at one point and then got back together, and after he moved to Baltimore, I was living in Frederick, where I still live to this day. After he moved to Baltimore, it was over. Yeah. Pretty much. And not really any of our faults, I don't believe. Although, you know, I was going through a rough time. I was very depressed at the time. 22 and 23 were my worst ages ever.
Really?
Yeah, I did not do well.
Just like, how do you feel it was not well?
Yeah, I think I was just, you know, depressed about the relationship. I didn't feel supported in my writing, really, because that's when I was writing like crazy from 19 on. And, you know, whenever he came over, he wanted to go out and be social, and I'd be like, well, I need to finish this first. And, you know, I wasn't at that time trying to get published or anything like that. I was just writing. Yeah. And, you know, he didn't really see the point to that. So, I mean, I was drinking a lot. drinking quite a bit.
Does that help or hurt your writing?
It helped my writing, I believe, at the time, but I think it hurt me as a human being.
Right, right.
I was, I was self-medicating and not really even, I didn't even know I was depressed,
Right.
I was drinking because I was drinking and I could.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was, until I met the man that would become my husband that I realized, how almost just sick with depression I was during those years. Yeah, it was kind of sad, but I mean, I got a lot of writing done.
On a good note.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about that.
Yeah, and you didn't die. You're alive. That's good. Where did you meet your husband?
We met on MySpace.
Ah, MySpace.
Seriously.
Nice.
Not through anybody, no mutual friends. Met on MySpace.
Like, who approached who?
I approached him
Nice.
because I had been dating a guy who stood me up at a New Year's Eve party.
Wow.
So I went home and I was just like, sad, and I'd been drinking because it was New Year's Eve. Yeah. I started trolling. I almost said Facebook, MySpace, and just looking at people who lived in Frederick and looking for cute guys.
Nice.
And I saw his picture and I was like, he's cute. Yeah. So I just added him as a friend, and then he sent me the first message, I guess because he had looked at my profile and saw that we had stuff in common. Basically, when I was looking for a guy, I was looking, has to live in Frederick, has to be cute, he has to be not religious, and he has to like the show Lost. Those are my only criteria.
That's so funny. I don't remember Lost and MySpace coexisting, but I guess they did.
They totally did. And also we had, because in your profile there would be like, my heroes are.
Yes.
And he just had a picture of the worm from Labyrinth. Like at the beginning where it's like, hello, come in and meet the missus. And I was like, that's adorable. So, yeah, we just started corresponding for a couple months and finally went on a date, and we were inseparable ever since.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
It sounds like he's an artist. He's
very talented photographer and illustrator, definitely. Nice. He doesn't do too much except when I make him. I mean, when we were doing Danny Marble and he agreed to do the illustrations, I'd be like, I'd never collaborated with anyone before, and I'm like, come on, because when I give myself a deadline, I hit it.
Yeah.
I usually hit it weeks ahead of time.
Nice.
So, when his deadline was coming up, I'm like, I haven't seen anything yet. Come on, give me some illustrations. So I doubt he'll be collaborating with me again. Yeah, but he is very talented. I wish he would do more. I do. He has quite an eye.
That's cool. And how did he propose?
It was kind of funny because we were very inseparable from that first date. So we moved in together before we had even been dating a year. I think it was like 7 months. We dated a year, we were engaged a year, and then we got married the following year.
Nice.
But, it's very quick. But I mean, sometimes that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Basically, I had my suspicions that he was going to propose, just because he was like, oh, let's go out, to dinner. I'd never been to the Cheesecake Factory, so let's go out to the Inner Harbor and go to the Cheesecake Factory. And he had gotten like a fancy hotel room, and we stopped at the beer store on the way to the hotel, and he was like, let's get some champagne. And I'm like, I'm not really in the mood for champagne. He's like, believe me, we're going to want champagne. I was like, And so we had dinner, and as we were enjoying our cheesecake, he was saying that he had never brought a girlfriend to the Inner Harbor before, and how exciting that was, and then awesome. So after dinner, we went went and walked along the harbor. It was a very beautiful day. It was in October, and it was, just it was so nice. The sun was setting, and it was gorgeous. And then he stops me, and he says, you know how I said I'd never brought a girlfriend to the harbor before? And he said, I'm never going to do that again. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because hopefully next time I bring her, she'll be my wife.
Nice.
And he got down on one knee, and he proposed, and I screamed, yes, of course, yes. And we kissed, and a little kid behind us just went, ew! And yeah, it was awesome. I had already kind of picked out my ring. I was getting to the point where I was like, if you are gonna propose at any time,
yes,
it's only $100.
Wow.
From over.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably not even see it on here. So,
bam, bros.
Yeah, it's small. But it was understated. All I wanted was something cheap or frugal, I guess we'll go with. And at the time, I was working in biotech, so I was wearing latex gloves all the time. I didn't, a big ring would have gotten caught. And
I just kind of want to reiterate what you're doing right now.
Oh.
You've got 3 novels coming out. What are those 3 novels?
We have the first 2 Darla Decker books, so that's Darla Decker Hates to Wait and Darla Decker Takes the Cake.
Okay.
The first one's coming out in May, and the second one comes out in September from Evolved Publishing.
Okay.
The book that's coming out from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing in August is called The Green Kangaroos, and that's a bizarro sci-fi novel that's written first-person male, so I get to talk about, my balls a lot. Nice.
Very nice. Your 2 novellas?
I have, The Maiden Voyage is a novella I had come out this year in January. That is a story, alternate history that takes place on the Titanic, about werebees, like hybrid man bees. So it's weird.
I like that.
Yeah. And then I have a novella coming out from the Dark and Bookish tour, which is a kind of like a dark fiction horror writer tour and documentary that I'm a part of this year. And that novella is called Hidden Children. And it's a rewrite of a novella I wrote when I was drunk at 23. So, if you read that one, you will totally be able to tell what point in my life that was written during.
That's awesome. And what would you say is like your most popular book out there right now?
Rabbits in the Garden is definitely my most popular and best-selling book.
All right.
That came out in 2010? 11? 10. 11. I don't know.
Can you give me a little synopsis of it?
Yeah, that book is about a girl named Avery Norton who, at 12 years old, is possibly wrongly accused of murder and gets sent to Taunton Lunatic Asylum for most of her life as she tries to prove her innocence and get out of the asylum without it driving her crazy. And it all takes place in about the mid-50s to mid-60s.
Cool.
And a lot of it takes place in Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, so it's a fun one.
Awesome.
She's got an evil mom. One of my favorite characters that I've ever written is her mom.
Well, it sounds great, and you're absolutely lovely and fantastic to speak with.
Oh, thank you. You too. So I'm excited about the show.
I know. We're really excited to have you. I think it's June 5th. That's June Thursday, 5th. Right? June 5th, Thursday. We'll be at the Pit in New York City.
Awesome.
We're so pumped to have you. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for the interview and for having us.
We'll see you in person soon.
Yay!
Yay! Have a good day.
Have an awesome day.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Want more Jessica McHugh? Check out jessicamchugh.books.com.